Yo, what's up? Here's a review for episode 4 of Game of Thrones House of the Dragons. This is a spoiler filled review, so I'm going to talk about this episode and everything in it. But this episode is called King of the Narrow Sea, and it basically delves into we got Relaena, who's trying to find suitors to be married that her king father is trying to get her to do. Her coming back, not finding anything. I love the scene with the little kid and that dude who's basically making fun of him and him stabbing the hell out of that dude and beating the shot of him after they kind of try to walk away from all the madness. The princess trying to walk away from the madness that's going on with them. That was a pretty dope scene to intro with. But then you also got Daemon coming back after he did beat the shot of the people, or not really beat the shit, but after he kind of won against the crab feeders and everything that was going on there. I enjoyed that part of the story and how they dealt with the beginning of this whole episode and how it all comes down to you got Daemon coming up to the king and basically saying that, yeah, I'm the king of the narrow sea. They basically brought me and said as king, but I'm giving this to you. You're the one true king and everything. And I really enjoyed that part of the story as how everything was going on at the beginning and how Daemon was really trying to make shit seem that, yo, I'm cool here. Did some rebellious stuff there and went to fight a war, taking castles and everything, but I'm doing it all for you. And we all know it's a play and that he's kind of, doing it as selfish reasons are kind of overshowing the king and stuff like that. And that's all interesting the way to begin it. But what the meat of this episode really is you got Relaena, who's having kind of a rebellious side with her. She doesn't really want to get married at all, and she's not finding anybody suitable for marriage. And then you got Daemon coming in, who not really tricks her, but kind of pushes her with this little scroll that she finds with a bunch of clothing and everything to sneak out late at night and go out and try to, go with him and basically just roam around the King's Landing and get a feel of what the actual city or kingdom is for her, and how people view her and everything. You got people who just don't want to see her as the heir and would think that it's horrible for her to be queen, or queen, I guess, because she's a woman and all that stuff. And that part of the episode was really, really interesting because you actually got to see her, her inner self have to fight back against that and how they deal with all that stuff. I really enjoyed a lot of this part of the episode with that. But the episode really gained weight when you see that Daemon wants something more from her. He's not only trying to let her rebellious side flow, but also, he basically wants to smash his goddamn niece, and he tries to do it and he can't get it up and everything, and they're inside of a brothel, so she's getting kind of turned on about the whole brothel situation by that and everything that's going on with there and everything, and he can't get it up, so he runs away, she runs away trying to go after him. I think that was what it was, right? Yeah, either she runs away or he runs away trying to go after them. But it all goes down to her coming back to King's Landing, or back to the castle, seeing her knight there and basically turned on still from the situation and getting him to come and smash and kind of breaking his oath that he has as a knight to, I'm not sure if it's not to do anything like that or what it fully is. I don't know. I could have sworn the other knights could do all that stuff as well. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was interesting in the way it was filmed and shot, their little scene that they had together. I really enjoyed all that stuff right there, and it really pushed to where, the stuff that's going on with her leading to where it's at in this episode. I enjoyed where they went with that stuff. The other things that you had here was also that the king and his wife are having a connection issue to where she's doing her duty as queen, taking care of him, taking care of the babies and stuff like that, but she's also kind of, not feeling what's going on there. Their relationship moments, especially when they're intimate, aren't really what she wants from it. You can tell that she doesn't have love in her heart for him. I do kind of find that her parts were a little dry for me, especially when she's talking to the princess. They didn't really come off as really genuine in her acting and stuff like that. But I did enjoy parts where she kind of had to bulk up to Relaena and, get her to try to reveal what she's doing and stuff like that. That was really interesting. But then you also have the king who ends up finding out what's happening in his castle with Relaena because of the hand basically taking in one of his, watchers or whatever and telling him what's going on and stuff like that. And he basically realized that something went down between Daemon and Relaena, and it could sully her and not be able to wed her off to anybody because she's had her V card taken and everything. So it was interesting where they went with that whole character and stuff like that, especially how the king had to bulk up to the hand and say, "Yo, are you lying to me?" And do you have ulterior motives to why you're telling me this? Is this even true? Relena's playing it off as it's not true as well, that she just went out there with her uncle and stuff, and then you got the king who goes to Damon and basically asks him, and Damon basically tells the truth about everything, but it's also he has ulterior motives of it as well, as he's drunk laying on the floor and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, I think the best parts of this episode was the rebellious stuff, was her being with Damon and everything that was going on between those two characters. Like I said, some of the parts that I didn't really enjoy was the queen and her acting and just kind of how they portrayed her character here. I enjoyed what they did with her character, but I wasn't in love with it. Her acting is just, it's not making me feel anything for her or just her character in general. I think the king is still a punk and I'm not in love with that, but I did like that he bulked up a little bit and kind of got at it. The next episode is kind of feeling like it's leading into that Rhaenyra's gonna have to marry one of the Sea Snake's kids, and that the hand is also at the end of this episode got kicked out, and basically, you're not the hand anymore because you have ulterior motives and you're kind of plotting against me. And the king finally kind of realizes that in this episode. So I enjoyed a lot of that, what they did here. For me, man, as a score, I would go a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this episode a good amount. I have mine a few nitpicks here, especially that we're back in the castle once again, and this is kind of the only place that we're at. But we did get to travel around King's Landing more, so I enjoyed that a lot. But this is real soap opera-ish, but it's in a good Game of Thrones kind of way. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this episode a good amount. I'm out of here. Peace.